I have been wanting to make this video for quite some time, and this is a little bit of a deviation from what you will normally find on this channel. But I was talking with a friend the other day and just felt, and she was so excited about this resource that I shared with her that I just felt like it doesn't get enough credit and more people need to know about it. So a short little intro, we are a homeschooling family. This is our second full year of homeschooling. I was a special education teacher in the public school system for 17 years and then decided that it was time for me to come home. I currently have, my oldest son is a 9th grader this year, and my youngest is a 1st grader, which gives us a pretty wide range of ages as well as subjects and things that we need to cover. When I first came home, I felt very pressured to try to keep up with the pace and the style of things that go on in a classroom, just because that was what I had been used to for so long. My oldest had been in public school, and while our experience with it wasn't bad, my husband and I both just felt that bringing them home and being able to give them a more one-on-one learning experience was going to benefit them. This was also at the beginning of COVID, and we just weren't sure where the whole world was going. And so we didn't want their schooling to continue to be interrupted or completely stuck online because of lockdowns and stuff like that. So we brought them home. I purchased a whole bunch of curriculum and really started fitting in reading just sort of as I fit it in. You know, I was like, oh, we have to do this curriculum and this curriculum and this curriculum and this curriculum. We have to get our subjects done. And then if we have time, we will read picture books. So it just felt like there was something missing in our homeschool. And it felt very different than how excited that my friends were who homeschooled. And so I started talking with them and they were giving me ideas and really teaching me how homeschool was different. It's not supposed to be like classroom teaching because you're not in a classroom. And so through our conversations, my friend Jessica taught me about Sarah Mackenzie and her Read Aloud Revival website. I also got this book, The Read Aloud Family, which is also by Sarah Mackenzie. And I think I finished this in a day. It was that good. And in it, she talks about how reading aloud to your kids, whether they're little bitty or college age, she has kids that are very young and she has kids that are in college, and she still does read alouds with her college age kids when they come home, is not only one of the best things you can do for them academically, but also one of the best things you can do for them relationally. And I won't get into all the different things that she talks about, but basically, you know, when your kids are little and they like to snuggle, it's a great time. People think of, oh, let's read, let's do picture books, let's do all that stuff, which is great. And it does. But even as your kids get older, even into the teenage years, when you are struggling to make relationships with your kids and you're having issues, and my oldest is 14. And so it's a hard time, but during read aloud time, he will sit with us. And even if he's mad at me and maybe he won't come over to the couch where we're reading, I know he's still listening because he'll interject something into the book or he'll laugh whenever we read a funny part of the book or whatever. So it is still a way that I'm trying to bridge that gap with him. But I wanted to share her website, Read Aloud Revival, because she and her team give you so many wonderful book recommendations. And this is really a key part because, you know, you walk into the library and one, it can be completely overwhelming. There are many picture books that have gorgeous illustrations, but maybe the content isn't great or the content isn't what you want it to be. We are seeing an influx of books for younger children that broach topics such as gender and sexuality and things that I just don't think my 1st grader really needs to have exposure to. And without sitting down and reading every single one of these books, it's hard to know what books you're getting or what stories you're getting. And so the reason that I love her website is every month she gives you a new list of picture books. We have been doing these picture books every month for probably the past year. I love all of them. There has not been one picture book that I do not enjoy. She also gives you books for other ages, but let me go ahead and show you how easy it is to navigate the site and just some of the goodies that you'll get. Okay, so when you go to readaloudrevival.com, you have the option to use part of the website free, completely free, or you can pay here and become a premium member. There are definitely benefits to becoming a premium member. You have Zoom meetings with the authors of children's books and more activities and just webinars and podcasts that you just can't access if you're a free member. But the thing that I love about this website is that there are so many good things, even if you just choose to do it for free. So you can go here to book lists. And this is where you will get their featured book lists. So right now they are in the October picture books. And this is what I do. I go each month to this list. It downloads to your phone, super easy. And I put this list on one phone. I pull it up on one phone, and then I open my library app on my phone, and I just start reserving books. And I go through and reserve every single book on this list that our library has. Another option you have is over here on the side, and that is all book lists. And what this is, she and her team go ahead and they break up books into different categories: books boys love, books girls love, ancient history. They will do audiobooks, even board books. She really covers the books that are loved by children and really by parents, from toddlers and when kids are still chewing on their books, all the way up through teens, young adults, and even books for mamas. Her categories are just endless, and I feel like every year she just adds a few more categories. The books on her book list for mama, I have read every single one of the fiction books at this point, and I'm working my way through her nonfiction series, and they are all just absolute treasures. I've even gotten my husband to read some of them, and he is not a reader, but he even has become hooked on reading the novels that she recommends because they're just such good stories. So as we continue our homeschooling journey, and I am just finding out how much my kids love when I read to them, it really is starting to take the center stage and become the forefront of how we homeschool. We definitely still use a few boxed curriculums. I think I would be a little lost without them, quite frankly. But more and more as I go throughout the years with the kids, I'm finding, oh, I could replace that next year with these books, or we don't have to order a curriculum for that because I know I can go to the library, and if we read these books, he'll get the information he needs. And I love feeling like that because in a time where money is tight, one of the things I think that keeps moms from staying home with their kids is the money. It's an income issue. And so if you're worried that homeschooling has to cost a lot of money, I am learning more and more that it's not. And I'm actually looking forward to next year cutting our curriculum purchases in half is my goal, because I'm learning how much more I can do with books. The other thing though is if you're a mama who works and when you come home, you're tired, but you really don't want to just sit your kids in front of the TV, or just let them get on video games or whatever. And we're starting to get into the colder months, even here in the South. It was in the 40s today, which is pretty chilly for October for us. So even just pulling from these book lists, checking them out at the library, and just leaving them in your car for the kids to read to themselves, or have your olders read to your youngers, or even just something to do on the weekends in the mornings instead of cartoons, or maybe Sunday after church when you just want some family time. It has been amazing to me what just sitting down and reading out loud will do. We actually just started a chapter book, and we read one chapter after dinner. And it's not every night. We have late nights because the boys do karate. But 3 to 4 nights a week after dinner, while the kids are finishing up dinner, I will sit at the table, or sometimes my husband will take a turn and read a chapter. We will sit at the table and we'll just read a chapter of this chapter book that we're reading. It's called Sweep. It was one of Sarah's recommendations. And it's just one of those things where it's exciting because we don't know what's going to happen, and our whole family gets to enjoy it. This is not a paid advertisement. I happen to have been taught about this resource from my sweet friend Jessica, and it's one of those things that is truly reshaping how I think about reading, not only for myself, but also for my kids, and how I can see reading being such an important thing, and how it can be such an emotional and relationship builder, even with kids that don't particularly love to read. These books and her lists and recommendations to me are just a wonderful foothold to get started on. They're free. And so I would really recommend, if you are looking for something easy that is just going to make you excited, I really think this is it. I also recommend grabbing the Read Aloud family. In here, Sarah also does some great recommendations for books for all ages. She breaks them up for you. And she even talks about novels versus read aloud novels. She spells it out in this book, and I'll be rereading it this year because it really is such a great eye opener. Thanks for coming, and I hope you guys enjoy this resource and have a wonderful day.